Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be checking out, doing a reaction review to School Food Punishment with You May Crawl. Now, in case you're not aware, I'm going to say what I always say at the beginning of these videos since we restarted the channel, which is that I'm about to give you the review. If you want to see the reaction, we have to do it this way now. Click a link in the description below and it will take you to a separate video so you can see the reaction. Sorry, we have to do it that way now. Apologies. But hey, just pause this video, check that out now, and then when you're ready, come back and I'll give you the review. Have you paused it? Have you watched the reaction? Are you ready for the review? Alright, here it goes. This was a song that was quite interesting. I liked it on a lot of levels, but there are certain things that I liked more than others, obviously, and we're always honest on this channel. So the things that really hit me the hardest and things that I liked a lot was partly the fact that the keyboard was used really well in this. There are some bands, well, there's quite a lot of bands, if they have a keyboard player, they kind of hold them to the back a little bit. And I really like it when you see a band who uses the keyboard player well, because this is not at the detriment of any other instruments. Each instrument has its own quality, but the quality of a keyboard is that obviously you can pick whatever sound you want. So you can really fill in any gap in any song. You can give a song a whole new tone and a whole feeling just from that one instrumentalist. So this was an example of that being done really well. Because what we had here was a song that started off with kind of a funky feel, you know, it was really sort of bouncing along. The drum line was fantastic. I love the drum work in here. It was like hyperkinetic, but it kept a sort of a disco-y feel. It was always sort of rolling along. Like I said, it was a great little, there was a great sort of groove going on the drum beat where he was doing that sort of beat where you come back very quickly from like on a half note off of the snare onto the kick. So it's almost like a, yeah, that sort of quick. Unless I start beatboxing, which I can't do particularly well. You'll just have to listen and see what I mean, but I'm pretty sure you guys picked that up during the reaction. There was that really cool groove to it, and that was followed up by the drum beat, which was played in the bridge, which had a really good sort of nice snare roll, and the way it was building up again. I felt the drum beat gave this a fantastic floor to work from. I think it was really lying on a really strong bed there, and it had that awesome bass line as well. So with those two elements in there, you had the bottom of the song was really kinetic and really interesting and detailed, but it wasn't constantly changing. It was basically looping. They were doing the same thing over and over for the best part of the song, which is the wisest way to do that kind of thing. Because when you've got a really kinetic, really detailed beat going, you know, sort of a kinetic groove between both the drums and the bass, then you want to keep that repeating, because it's the sort of thing where the ears, they start to settle in, they start to enjoy it, and then because it's so detailed, it starts to become the sort of thing that's very easy to listen to over and over again. Whereas if someone does a really, really bland, simple beat, then it becomes tiring quicker. So if you get everyone's ears accustomed to something really groovy and funky, then yeah, keep it going. I mean, that's why that type of music, that kind of funk music, tends to stick to that, you know, rudimentary system of repeating a lot, is because, you know, the whole idea is to find something that people want to hear repeated. So for the best part, luckily not the whole part, like I said, I had bridges and things where I broke it up. For the best part, it sticks to the same basic undertone in the song, the same basic energy going underneath things. And then the top of the song is allowed to have a lot of room, and that's essentially the guitars, the vocals, and the keyboard. And a lot of those sounds were done in quite a sparse way. Like I say, the guitar had its moments, but as a general was playing quite big, sparse sounds. You know, it was giving a lot of, usually what I think a lot of bands would do with the keyboard. You know, a lot of time they get a keyboard player, just give them a big synthesizer and just say, hold that note. With this, it was the guitar. It was like a ring, and a note would hold on. See, I can do my guitar impressions better than my beatboxing. And then that ring would hold with a big sparse echoey sound, and that's nice because that sort of sound, the reason why it's often better to do that on a keyboard, on a guitar than on a keyboard, is because a guitar sound naturally decays. You get the impact of a ring and it fades off into the echo. It's nice. It allows other sounds to sort of grow throughout each through each chord, you know, for each bar, for how long the notes held for or played. So that was a really nice technique, which was employed for a lot of the song. And then the keyboard was actually doing what a lot of the time other bands would do with like a guitarist, and it was doing like riffs. It had this little perfect impression bit going on. It had some held saw synth sounds underneath it, which was really cool. You know, he was using I think it was the he on the keyboards, was using both layers of the keyboard and was really making something interesting there, making a lot of sounds happen, making it sound like something really engaging. So yeah, I can't help but feel that that was just like a really good use of all of those elements. You know, the guitar was, for the best part, giving the size to the soundscape. The keyboard was doing its little bits, and then when it needed to, it was stepping forward to give that more synthetic almost sci-fi like aura to things. You know, they occasionally had, I think it was a couple of breakdowns in there where they went just really to the keyboard being the center of the song. And that was cool because when they did that and everything else went away, it totally changed the balance. But, you know, by giving you a sound that was already there kind of in the arrangement, but putting that to the forwards. Obviously, simple technique, but nice when you can do that with a keyboard. So I think they balanced their sounds well. They used them well. The vocals were really nicely delivered. I liked her voice a lot. She has one of those voices I like where it doesn't have to be the biggest, most powerful voice, but there's a lot of passion and feeling in it, all the way from the sort of really energetic notes where you can really hear her pushing her voice down to the quieter and more sort of breathy, soulful, jazzy notes. So I think that a lot of things worked about it on that level. Now, overall, if I was to be honest and sort of cut a little bit into my potential criticisms, and these are not very strong criticisms, these are quite weak ones, but we have to be honest about, would I come back to it? Would I listen to it regularly? I would be happy to hear this song again. I don't think it would be one that I would rush to come back to, though. And the reason, this is a bit of a difficult one to say, because obviously it's 13 years old, so I'm probably comparing it to a lot of songs that have come since. But there are a lot of songs that have this kind of sound, and in Japan as well. This is a really good example of it. But that kind of funky, poppy, smooth thing, there's a lot of that sort of music. And this one doesn't manage to land a particularly memorable vocal melody. And that's kind of the problem. I liked the vocals, I liked the song, but the thing is, when you've got a groove, a song that's based on a groove going underneath everything, you need that focal point, that melody, the thing which makes you come back to it, because that's the bit you can almost sing along, that's the bit that gets caught in your head. This has the like I say, all the right sounds, it has all the right sort of musical underpinnings, and yet the vocal melody just never landed for me. I didn't find the chorus catchy. If anything, if I heard that chorus too much, I might find it a bit annoying. It didn't do anything for me, the chorus. And again, I liked the way she was singing it, just didn't like the melody very much. It just felt kind of a bit round and round and round. So yeah, I've got to say that there were a lot of cool things about this. I personally, if I had been like maybe not the producer, if I'd been the executive producer on this, I would have said to them, hey, can we think about doing that chorus again? Is there anything we can do to make that a little bit more interesting, a little bit more memorable? Then again, what do I know? This has got over 1 million views, although that is over the space of 13 years. So judge that as successful as you wish to. However, yeah. Basically cool. Basically, I really liked it, but like I said, didn't quite get its claws in enough to become memorable, which is a shame. If this band is still around, I'm certainly willing to listen to more of them. I'd be certainly interested to hear more. The video was really cool as well. It looked like, for a video released in 2007 in Japan, I think that it probably was better made than most. It did look like it was quite well made. A lot of simple graphical techniques used, but basically it looked like it was quite well made. I did think that they were trying to cover the simplicity of the video as often do. You know, kind of like how shaky cam was used a lot in movies around, probably around the same time actually. Yeah, the idea that if the camera moves, it makes everything look more natural. I think they kind of got that a little bit wrong here, because it just looked like a really obviously digitally programmed camera wave, which just as a result just looked like some smooth motion sickness, and I think they kind of overdid that in bits. However, you know, it was a cool video, it was enjoyable, and like I said, it was a cool song. I just don't think it quite dug its nails into my memory as much as it could have done. So cool stuff. If you're a fan of this or not, if you know this song or not, you know how this works. If you like it or not, get in the comments. It's all about the comments. Love to hear your subjective opinions. I give my subjective opinions and try to explain them. So now it's your turn. And as always, if you want to get more into the conversation, remember we also have our Discord and Reddit linked in the description below. You can like and subscribe to this video if you want. Also got my Facebook and Twitter down there, and also the Patreon for our wonderful, wonderful subscribers. Thank you so much for keeping the channel going. Really couldn't appreciate it more. So, until I hopefully see you soon on my next video here in Japan, for now, ciao ciao.